All right, today let's take a look at this Casio Duro. Leave the exact reference number of this one in the description. Give you guys the specs of the watch, give you guys my thoughts and experience, and then at the end I'll tell you guys if I recommend the watch. This one also in particular is modified, and we'll quickly go through those modifications a little later. So what do we have here? We have a 44 millimeter case size. We have a thickness of 12 millimeters. We have a lug to lug here of 48 and a half, and the lug width of 22 millimeters. This does come from Casio with a mineral crystal up top, 120 click unidirectional bezel with a aluminum bezel insert. As you can see here, this reference number has the Pepsi colorway for the bezel insert. We do have a printed Casio sign on the dial there with the marlin at the bottom, 200 meters of water resistance, and this is achieved by a screw down case back, which is screw down crown is not signed. Screw down case back there, engraved with the marlin logo at the bottom. There is a nice satisfying pop to the crown. There it goes. You can pull it. This is a quartz movement, so it's you can have the hacking right away, then push it back in. Nice smooth screw down action there. Actually very smooth. They are printed indices, but they are raised from the back side to make them look like they are applied indices. So it's actually a nice kind of play for the price point. We do have that red seconds hand at the seconds hand, the red tip there, and I actually like that little marlin there. It actually gives it a nice balance to it. We have the date over at the 3 o'clock position. The 22 millimeter bracelet does not taper at all, just an FYI. We do have polishing on the top, and then we have brushing on the sides here. I'm sorry, I got that mixed up. We have, I'm going crazy here. We have brushed on the top and polished on the sides there. I'm going nuts. The bezel action itself is actually really good. Before we go a little further, I want to show you guys what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist, just for reference. There you go. As you can see, no overhang. There are no hot spots with this watch. It's actually very light on wrist, and I actually tend to forget that I'm wearing this watch when it's on. It's a quartz watch, so that actually helps with the weight. Yeah, and there's, even though it is a 44 millimeter size watch, which is pretty big, I think that effective lug to lug helps it wear like a 42 millimeter watch, maybe even a little bit smaller, but essentially it wears like a 42. So it's a nice wearing watch. We'll quickly go through the price of this watch. These are available in several colors. We do have the Pepsi here. There is a Batman version, which is black and blue bezel. There is a classic black on black. They have one with gilt hands and a gold bezel with the bezel insert still black. They have the Kermit, which is black dial, green bezel insert. All of them are available anywhere from about $50 to $65, depending on where you get it from. And they're available anywhere from Walmart to eBay to Amazon. They're readily available almost everywhere. Now, they usually don't come on this bracelet. What they will come on is this resin strap, which is pretty much garbage, and it is expected to not be that high quality for a $50 watch. I actually just kind of tossed it to the side. I never wore it on there. I wanted to give the bracelet a chance. I'm a bracelet guy, and I wanted the original Casio Duro bracelet, which this is. It does feature folded links, so it does give the impression of a 3-link bracelet with all brushed up top, and then little polished little chamfered edges on the middle link, but they are all folded links. It is a pain in the butt to size. This is probably one of the worst ones to size. I hate folded bracelets just as much as screwed up pins from both sides, like the Helson Shark Diver. Those are all a pain to size. There is a little bit of play, a little bit more than normal, which is kind of expected. We'll quickly go through the price of this as well. There's a little play going back and forth as well. We do have a pressed clasp, but there is a nice satisfying pop. So it is pretty secure. 2 micro adjustments, not that much, but the action on this clasp is actually very nice. We have the 2 pusher style there for the clasp as well, so kind of nice. This one here, the bezel action is very good. It actually rivals my Seikos, which I think it actually beats the Seikos, and it actually rivals some Swiss divers. There's not that much play in it. It actually is very defined on the clickiness. You can feel, I can feel and hear when it clicks into place. It's actually very nice action. The one thing about the bezels that you will notice is when it's actually on wrist, it's actually very thin, so it can be hard to grip sometimes, especially when your hands are wet. So it's a little hard to turn. I noticed this kind of issue even with a Glycine Combat sub. When the bezels are too thin, they're just a little hard to grip. It might be my fingers, which are pretty fat, but just something to keep in mind as well. I actually like how the dial is a sunburst black. If you can see that, it is actually a nice color, which will turn kind of grayish, like a gunmetal gray, when you're out in the light, in direct sunlight. It's actually a nice black. So something that was kind of unexpected for the price range. A lot of reviews, I'm trying to mess this around with the light, because a lot of reviews make it seem kind of like a flat black, but it's not. It's actually a very nice sunburst black here. So nicely done by Casio. I like how it's 200 meters of water resistance. And let's talk a little bit more about this particular watch here. This particular watch, like I said, has modifications to it. One of them is the bracelet, but the major one here is I actually updated it with a sapphire crystal with blue AR coating. If you guys can pick that up from the shots there, I'm trying to mess with the lighting so you guys can see how you can see the blue hue in the crystal. The watch head itself on the strap without the mineral crystal, is it worth the money? I believe so. It's actually a great watch, and that's why I picked up the sapphire crystal to kind of match the quality of it with putting in a decent sapphire crystal on there. So I believe that's a great update and mod for these watches. I think it's worth it. The sapphire crystal itself I picked up from AliExpress for around $18, so not bad for the upgrade. I actually think it complements the watch very well. I like how the blue hues complement the blue on the Pepsi bezel, so very nicely done. I think that's worth it. Would I pick up the bracelet again? Probably not. The bracelet is an original Casio Duro bracelet. It cost me around $20, and you can get them anywhere from 20 to 35 bucks for these, but it's a press clasp. It pulls my hair. It's actually very flimsy, very rattly, very cheap feeling. Yeah, is it worth the 20 bucks? No, I don't think so. I'm just kind of weird. I want a bracelet. I wanted the original bracelet, but this is actually almost no better than the resin strap, honestly. It's just a cheap bracelet. I know other manufacturers make bracelets. Even Strapcode makes a bracelet. I don't know if you guys want to spend $100 on your bracelet for a $50 watch head. That's on you. I'm sure it would complement the watch head well, because this is a solid piece, but I wouldn't spend $100 either on a bracelet for a $50 watch, but to each their own. But I think this would look great on a nice leather maybe, or maybe a silicone strap, you know, something that's a little bit higher end than the resin strap over there. But yeah, this is a great watch overall. I like how even for 50 bucks, the polishing is very uniform on the sides, and the brushing up top is actually very sharp. So there's not much more you can ask for, especially for the $50 price point. You do get the screw down case back with that Marlin logo. I mean, this thing for the price is, I can see this being the best dive beater watch for under $100. You can't get much better than this. Once you make your upgrades and you get the bracelet you like, or whether you get the strap you like on here, even if it's this one, and once you get this sapphire crystal up top, if that's your thing, the only thing that this thing lacks is the lume at this point. and that's actually great for the price. All in all, here, as you can see, with this watch in particular, sapphire crystal bracelet, you're looking at about 115 bucks, around there. 110, 105, 115. This is what you can expect to pay after getting the watch head, the bracelet, and the sapphire crystal here. So it's not bad for something that only has basically one downfall. Another great feature of this watch is, if you can look, I'm trying to hold it still, if you can see the seconds hands there, is it actually hits every tick perfectly. It might not look like it because of the angle. I'm trying to get it centered there so you can see it, but it actually hits every tick perfectly. So great job by Casio. Attention to detail even at the lowest price point for a analog watch that they have here. Just a great watch overall. This is actually taking some time off of my other watches that are way more expensive here. I'm actually blessing it with the light so you guys can tell what I mean about the with the weak lume. But I want to show you really quickly here. It is not strong at all. It won't last you all night. It's the only thing that lags from this watch, but what can you expect for a $50 watch? Turn off the lights there. It actually looks like it might last all night. It's actually pretty bright on camera, but this will fade pretty quickly here. But I mean, it's there. It's something. And you can't really expect, you know, everything for 50 bucks. But overall, do I recommend this watch? Yes. Should you mod this watch? I think this is a perfect watch to mod. You can actually, it's actually very simple to pop off the sapphire crystal there with the right cheap press. And yeah, I think this is a great time for you guys to mod your watches with this and show your inner modder, and then you get yourself a great little watch for not that much money. Let me know what you guys think. Catch you guys on the next one.